is. You heard it, Corey. We can also hear this. Lou Williams.
Okay, Lou, you're back.
Tonight, yes, he is. He missed the last outing with Sacramento. As we welcome you inside the Prime Ticket Production Studios. Don McLean, Corey Maggette. I'm Jeannie Zelasco.
Corey, did they find the guy yet?
Who's that?
The guy that stole your tie.
The guy stole it. I'm looking at Darren. You got my tie? he has my tie. I'm letting him wear it right now. It's okay.
I'm blaming somebody else. We got the plexi. It's all good. The Clippers have a 4-game win streak coming into this one, a streak that includes a victory against these very same Sacramento Kings. 5 days ago, we saw the Ty Lue experiment really explode. Don, the bench, it is back.
Yeah, it's coming on, and we get Lou back tonight. But Marcus Morris has been really good for this Clipper team. And what you love about him, Corey, is that he's a pro. He's been in the league. He started last year. He asked to come off the bench because Batum had fit in so well with the starters. And I think he's flourishing even more than he would be in the starting lineup, because the ball's in his hands more. He's more of a scorer like he was in New York last year before he got to the Clippers. So I think a great thing that Marcus Morris asked to come off the bench, and he's obviously big-time valuable for this Clipper team.
Well, Don and Jeannie, you see the numbers here, 19 points and 8 for 13, 61%, 61.5 to be exact, but Marcus Morris is doing that. He's being a professional. He knew exactly how to kind of implement himself into this lineup. When you think about just trying to fit in as far as the chemistry to allow Nicholas Batum to stay in that lineup, but also I thought it was even more important, Don, is for now Marcus Morris, he's starting to get back in shape. And you can tell by the way he's shooting the basketball, he has his legs under him. So that's very important in the way he's shooting the basketball. He's more confident. And like you said, Don, he can get more touches coming off the bench.
When it's all said and done, people are going to be talking about this Clipper bench, Jeannie, as an asset, not as, oh, how's the bench going to be? We know the starters are going to be good. This bench is going to be really good.
Yeah, they were doing that damage in the last 2 games without Lou Will, averaging, 63.5 points in those last 2 games off the bench. So we have Mook that is healthy. How about Luke Kennard? He is feeling more comfortable. He is feeling more settled. And for more, we go to Christina Pink.
Well, hey, Jeannie, Luke Kennard's teammates have had one consistent message for him all season. Shoot it. Good things happen when you shoot the basketball, which has been pretty evident over the last couple of games where we've had double-digit scoring from Kennard. He's simply found his footing in this Clippers offense, and it's only getting better.
Spacing has been great, especially when you have guys like Paul and Kawhi. They attract so much attention, and for me, it kind of makes it easier on me just to be in the right spots. So, guys have been on me to shoot more, even if it's a small contested shot. So, yeah, and I think we want to play with more pace. Going to your transition question, we want to play a little faster. So that starts with guys like me running the floor, getting to the corner, spacing the floor out, and that leads to open shots.
Well, how open are those shots? Kennard is shooting 52% from 3 this season. So impressive, but he actually wants to get better at drawing fouls and getting to the line. Just 10 free throws this season, but he has certainly found his chemistry with the Clippers so far this year, Jeannie.
KP, thank you so much. He had 9 points in the 4th quarter the other day, getting quality minutes without a Kawhi Leonard, who gets to take the 4th off the last 2 games. So, Corey, I'll turn to you as Kennard talks about getting to the line.
Yes.
How important is that to his rhythm? Yes, you're up, you tireless man.
Listen, I'm just excited. Listen, Luke, just come see me. I can tell you all my tricks of the trade to get to the foul line. But the special thing about it, this guy has a high basketball IQ. He's not just a shooter, Don McLean. He attacks the basket. He makes plays for his teammate. And now he's starting to get the confidence from his star players. Luke, shoot the basketball. We need you to shoot. You're a 50-50-90 type of player. He's playing the right way, and I love that he's getting more confidence. And when you get a chance to play, and we know that he didn't play last season, we are starting to see why he got that $64 million big one for this team.
He's starting to get comfortable, Corey. And look, he hadn't played for a year. And if you really stop and think about what you mentioned, the fact that, and I know it's only 14 games, he's shooting 50 from 2, 50 from 3, and 90 at the free throw line, and you haven't played for a year, that's astonishing to me.
Yes.
And so I think what's going to happen now, those numbers obviously won't stay there the entire year. I think they'll be close to it. But the more opportunities he's going to get, the more minutes he's going to get because he's playing better, the more production you're going to see from Luke Kennard. And that's why I said before, this bench is going to be really – Kennard is – near where he's going to be, but he's not at where he's going to be.
Now, I know you know him very well, so what's the ceiling on him? Because his basketball IQ in postgame, the conversations, the nuggets that he passes along, it seems like there's a lot more to come from him.
Yeah, and I think it's about combinations for Ty Lue. You know, do you keep starters in? Who does he play with the starting group? But I do think his minutes, Jeannie, are going to go up. The more comfortable he gets, we're starting to see it. So we'll see what the end game is, but again, Kennard nowhere near where I think he's going to be.
And Don, I had to bring it back thinking about Landry Shamet. He did a lot of good things here for the Clippers. And the Clippers made a great decision by upgrading. And what I mean by upgrading, they got a guy that can actually get to the paint and make plays. It's not just that Kennard can shoot the ball and he's a little more accurate when he's shooting. It's about trying to help your teammates get better. When he comes in the game, he's able to play downhill and not only make plays with his left hand, but if you look at the stat sheet, he's getting to the other side and going right. So that kind of throws a lot of his defenders off. So I love to see the way Luke Kennard is being more assertive, facilitating to his teammates, and that's his biggest attribute that I see personally.
Corey, congrats, man. Don, I think that's the first segment we've gotten through with Luke where he hasn't brought up where he went to college.
Yeah. Oh, Duke Blue
so we
Devils.
need to
I
move
had to
on.
mention it. Come on now.
All right. There, you got it in anyway. We wanted to get this in, too, because we need to congratulate our military hero of Clipper Nation, James Edgerton. Learn more about his story and service as part of Military Heroes presented by CarMax. Thank you for this, CarMax. This is very cool. If you want to nominate a Clippers fan who has served or is on active duty, you know, we used to be able to celebrate you inside the facility. Let's do it on the air. Visit clippers.com/militaryhero for details. All right, still ahead on Clippers Live. We are going to hear from Ty Lue on the Clippers-Kings rematch. And we've got analysts, so we're not afraid to use them. They're headed to the lab, the three-man weave, to talk chemistry and the formula to success. Stay right where you are.
The Clippers are taking on the rest of the NBA, and you can watch from anywhere on Fox Sports Go. Every shot, every slam dunk. Presented by T-Mobile.
Clippers Live is presented by CarMax, official used car retailer of the LA Clippers.
The chemistry is amazing. This team is it's a real bond, man. It's fun. You know, but this team is locked in. We're together. It's one of the best locker rooms I've been around and been in. You know, it's just hopefully you guys see it, just how well we're meshing, and we're gonna continue to build off that.
You know the old saying, the team that stays together plays together, and the proof is in the passing, right? Look at the numbers as the Clippers head into battle with the Kings tonight, comparing last season to this season, up across the board in the passes, in the assists, and then the assist points created in this one. And without further ado, we bring to you the analyst takeover, now known as the three-man weave. Don.
It's now known as the three-man weave for now. It's tentative. We'll see how it plays out tonight. So you guys know the topic. It's team chemistry. Marcus Morris, senior and PG, we're talking about it on Sunday. So, Jim, I go to you first. How does it manifest itself? And it doesn't just happen on the court. It happens in the locker room and off the court as well to have that good chemistry on the court.
You're exactly right, Don, and I think a lot of it's a combination. It's not just one thing. I think the humbleness of this team, of what transpired last year in the playoffs and failing to get to a conference finals and even a championship game, kind of brought this team together. And sometimes you have to go through defeat, loss, hurt, pain in order to grab everything. The moves that were made in the offseason to ensure now that the Clippers team has the best chance to compete for a title, but also being able to be coachable. Okay, this team now, this year, especially Kawhi and Paul George, the onus on them to be more playmakers, not just scorers, has allowed this team to prosper. And then at the same time, you mentioned this, Don. I think the move by Marcus Morris Sr., when he came back and said the willingness to come off the bench, despite being a starter, I think that lifts the morale of this team to say, listen, we're all brought in. It's not about one player, two players, three players. It's all of us together. And when you combine that with what Coach Ty Lue brings to the table and his experience, his willingness to listen, to be like a sponge to his players, but also to be able to put the hammer down when he needs to, it's a plethora of things going on right now, things going on in the right direction for the Clippers, why they're playing so well together, more importantly, why they enjoy being around each other.
Well, I think, too, Don, and when you look at the chemistry that this team has shown, a lot of it is inserting in the right players. A guy like a Serge Ibaka who brings that leadership in the locker room, which is very important. Even for Serge Ibaka going to Kawhi and say, hey, you need to be more vocal. You are a leader of this team. And that says a lot. For this team also bringing in constructive criticism. When you have constructive criticism, that means that you can go to a player and know that it comes from the right place. And when you have that, all of a sudden you start to build more chemistry within that team. The chemistry starts as well from that first unit, building the chemistry on the floor. But together, bringing that second unit in to have this type of chemistry. So I love the way the Clippers are starting to get everyone else involved. They understand their role. Roles are very important. They don't have any cancers on the team that's going to bring that negativity, and you can see it showing the way they're playing, guys.
The good teams that I was on, it always started at the top. The coach was communicating with the players, and then the best players, the star players, were inclusive of the other players. I was never a star player, but I was on good teams that had great chemistry in the locker room because the star players understood what you said, Corey, we're all in this together. And I think the other thing that happens, you guys, is once you see it start to go, you just want to do it more. Like, you want to pass the ball more. You want to block guys out for your teammate. And so you're playing for each other and playing to win. And I think that's the biggest thing with chemistry is when you don't have it, you only care about yourself. You only care about your stats. You don't care if you win. But when you can capture this chemistry that we're talking about, it continues to grow throughout the season, and that's what championship-level teams have.
I agree. And also, I'm sorry.
I totally agree.
Sorry, but I wanted to say, too, and also, too, for that chemistry, this team understands who their superstars are. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, they understand that they need to get these guys the ball. That's why you can look at this offense, the way they're passing. They're very unselfish, and we've seen over the last few games that you even had Paul George and Kawhi Leonard passing up open shots to get their second-string guys a chance to shoot the ball, like a Luke Kennard, like a Marcus Morris, to even kind of activate that second unit, guys.
Go ahead, Jim.
Hey, listen, I agree totally with both of you guys. Listen, what we're talking about is having the right people in the locker room with the right personality. I don't care if you're talking about business or the professional sports. When you truly enjoy working with certain individuals that you can look across from and say, I got his back or her back, and they have mine, now you develop something, I think, deeper. More so than just winning and losing basketball games, you develop a kinship and a friendship knowing that you can lean on them in times when things are not going right. You can also, like you said, Don, accept the criticism, but also give it out a little bit, but improve each day. So that's the beauty of it with this team, because there are going to be some ups and downs during the course of the year. But the better you're connected from top to bottom, the better you'll be able to ride through those storms and ultimately get to the goal, which is to win a championship.
Really good discussion, fellas. Coming up next, Brian Seaman sits down with Ty Lue to talk about tonight's game against Sacramento.
There's only one original stuffed crust, and it's only from Pizza Hut. The only place that gives you up to 3 toppings on your original stuffed crust for just $11.99. Only from Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
There are many names for enthusiasts, but there's only one way to become one, by going all in. The new Lexus IS. with a lower center of gravity, a more responsive suspension, and an aggressive, wider stance. This is what we call going all in on the sports sedan.
Lease the 2021 IS 300 for $359 a month for 39 months.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Some things in your medicine cabinet are more dangerous than others. When it comes to prescription drugs, opioid pain medicines can be addictive and even deadly. Keeping unused opioid medicines in your home is risky. Half the people who misuse prescription pain medicines get them from a friend or family member. Over 100 Americans die every day from an opioid overdose, and millions are addicted to opioids. But you can be part of the solution to the opioid crisis. Go through your medicine cabinets, drawers, anywhere you keep unused opioid pills, patches, or syrups, and find out how to dispose of them safely. Visit fda.gov/drug disposal for details and remove the risk of opioids in your home.
Are looking to extend their winning streak to a season-high 5 games when they host Sacramento. Both offenses tonight ranked top 10. Ty Lue's team is a top 10 scoring defense as well. He's going to lean on that and more as he tells our Brian Seaman.
All right, Jeannie, thank you so much. Ty Lue, I'm going to go kind of off the board here for our first question. You know, we've seen some nice wins of late. You guys are really playing well. The defense is coming along. The offense has been great. My question to you is, when do you stop and smell the roses in a season like this, in a time like this, where everything is so bizarre? How do you stop and enjoy the process?
I don't know. It's just, everything's day to day. Just having to adjust and be able to adapt to the surroundings. And, we're trying to enjoy as much as we can, but, not being able to leave the house, not being able to leave the hotel, can't go to coaches' dinners and things like that. So we're just trying to find ways just to make it fun and how we can enjoy each other, being around each other, and also getting better. So I think we're trying to do a good job of doing that and just trying to, figure out ways to just to enjoy it.
What is the most enjoyable thing to you about being a coach, again, in an environment like this? You've been on the sidelines for over a decade. You ran the Cleveland Cavaliers, took them to a championship. What are you enjoying most? And I know it's a limited option right now, but what are you enjoying most right now?
Just seeing how it's starting to come together. Like I said, it's going to be a process, and, we're trying to figure each other out. New system for the players. We have some new players, added from last year's team. And then we have a, new defensive style. So just trying to, the biggest thing for me is just being excited just when things are starting to come together. It's going to take a little bit more time, but I like where we're at right now. I like what we're trying to do and how we're trying to do the right thing.
You talk about coming together. A couple players I want to ask you about. Marcus Morris, senior, last couple of games has been terrific. I can tell that the shots are falling, but from a coach's eye, what are you seeing?
Just, buying in. Marcus was a starter for us last year. He's been a starter for most of his career. And to come to me, as a man and say, we've been playing well. I think I'll be better suited coming off the bench, and I can help our scoring off the bench. He said Nick's been doing a great job. Our team's in a good flow and a good rhythm. So it takes a guy like that, professional, a guy who's been there and wants to win. And then just seeing how he's buying in. I think he's doing a good job of getting to the second side on pick and roll actions if he don't have a shot. And, we're just trying to go to him out of timeouts just so he can make sure he has his rhythm. And then when we go to the small lineup, he's been really good for us.
Another guy that's coming into form, and there was no question, it was just a matter of time. But when you take a calendar year off due to injuries and the stoppage, it's going to be some rust. It looks like Luke Kennard has finally been able to shake free. The shots are falling, but there's a better comfort level from where I sit.
Yeah, we just want him to be aggressive, from the coaching staff, to his teammates. Just be aggressive, play your game. And we know he can make plays off the pick and roll and off the dribble. And he's shooting 52% from three, so we would like for him to get, at least 3 or 4 more a game up, if he can. So just stand on him by taking his open shots and, just being aggressive.
Ty Lue, we appreciate your time. Stay healthy tonight, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Brian.
Jeannie, back to you.
Thank you so much, Ty's team already at work. No doubt Paul George busy making posters like this one. We're going to go inside Staples.
Got to get up to throw down Paul George, and the Clippers out in front 11-10.
So Paul George was called out postgame in Sacramento a little less than a week ago because Reggie Jackson's dunk was more memorable. So clearly PG took that to heart, hence the video. Well, he one-upped him. Let's see what happens tonight. So he's got an increased focus there and getting up close and personal with the hoop, Corey.
Well, you know, the one thing about it, and I talked to Don a little bit about why Paul George is getting to the basket. It has to do with his health. You know, a guy's healthy. He's not worried about his shoulders. First of all, he's a great ball handler. He can get to the basket whenever he wants. He is in a position where he can keep the defense guessing every single time. He's shooting almost 50% from the three. And you know what? I'm going to change it up, and I'm going to get to the basket. And when you're healthy enough to get to the basket, Don, it allows you to make plays, to read the defense, to kind of cut through the line of defense and make easy plays to the basket, Don.
Corey, you're right about the health. I also think the ball's in his hands more. Like last year, they were running actions for him, pin downs, flare screens, things like that. This year, he's got the ball in his hands, and he's in the action with ball screens. So I think he's become more of a driver and more of a playmaker, but still shooting a high percentage.
Using the opportunity, driving nearly 4 times more per game this year. All right, guys, you're up now. Carmax, call your shot. Clippers have shot 45% and then some from 3 their last 5 games. Will they make it 6 in a row tonight, Don?
Yes, they will. I don't see Sacramento's defense being a factor tonight.
Neither do they.
Clippers continue to shoot well.
Well, I guess I'm going to be devil's advocate. Listen, I hope the Clippers shoot 49+% from the three-point line, but sometimes you might have an off night, so I would say that they're going to shoot 43%, which is still a good percentage when you're shooting the 3-ball, Donnie Mac.
You got 2 guys shooting 50, 50, 90 on your team. Most nights you're probably going to shoot 50%.
Well, we have Lou Will coming back tonight as well. The hip is healthy. Serge Ibaka back in this one as well. And if you guys remember, less than a week ago, oh my
Clippers look for their 5th straight win. Over the past week, Pat Beverly and the Clippers have been dominant on both sides of the floor. Ball movement and defense have been the key ingredients for their success. Of their current 10 wins, one of them came against Sacramento. And De'Aaron Fox and the Kings are looking to break out of a slump. It has been just 2-8 since Christmas. Kings do have young talent that can make life difficult if the Clippers are not ready. As we welcome you inside Staples Center alongside NBA veteran Jim Jackson, I'm Brian Seaman. It is great to have you with us. Well, since the start of the season, the starting 5 for the Clippers has been one of, if not the best lineups in basketball. Where they struggled was the bench, but it looks like things are turning around, and you can thank Marcus Morris Sr. for that.
Well, you know, it takes time. We want everybody to come in and fit into the offense right away, but sometimes that doesn't happen. I think where it starts is Marcus Morris saying, listen, I'm going to be unselfish. I'm going to come off the bench. Once he's done that, the morale of the team kind of follows. Now he's playing mindless basketball. He's feeling himself. Listen, the last 2 games, he's part of the 60-60 club. 61% field goal, 61 from behind the 3-point line. But it's only going to get better.
After a full calendar year off, you had to expect some rust from Luke Kennard. Well, he has shaken off the rust, and the comfort level looks really, really good for him.
Well, the upgrade in regards to having a player like Luke Kennard who not only can stroke the basketball, but can make plays off the dribble, off the pick and roll. And again, like Marcus Morris, it's going to take a little bit of time in your new adjusted role. But when you're on the court with Kawhi Leonard and also Paul George, spacing is in particular important, and finding out when and where you're going to get your shots is important. Luke now is settling into his role.
The Clippers tonight take on the Sacramento Kings for the second time in a week. The Kings are struggling just 2-8 since Christmas, but they do have a bright spot, and that is the play of De'Aaron Fox.
Well, it's no question about his athleticism. He can put the ball in the basket. Listen, he dropped 43 points in their last game, in their last loss. But what really impressed me was the 13 assists, because he's made a mandate of himself to say,